Now that I've got a few subscribers that might actually see these videos, I thought I'd do an overview of my portfolio of niche websites, just so you guys can see what I'm working with and how much traffic each one gets, the niche it's in, um, and revenue. So you can see my overall portfolio revenue for October. So I've only been doing this about 2 years, and I have 10 sites in my portfolio. That is pretty extreme for someone that's only been doing this 2 years, and I know that. If I had just stuck with one or two sites, I'd probably be making a lot more money than I am now. But I do feel like I'm more diversified this way. And if one of my sites went down from a Google algorithm update, or from whatever Amazon commission cuts, basically I wouldn't have to start from square one. I'd have to do a lot of catching up, but I wouldn't be completely dead in the water. Whereas if I just had one site and something catastrophic happened, it could wipe me out. So that's why I've got 10 sites rather than just one or two, which is pretty normal for someone that's been doing this for a couple of years. So let's take a look inside my portfolio, starting with site number one. Okay, so here we are looking at site number one, and as you can see, it's in the general home and garden niche. The domain was registered on 11/13 of 2018, so just about 2 years ago. This site is almost 2 years old. It has a total of 192 posts for 323,000 words. And last month it got 95,000 page views, which is down from what it usually is. That site usually gets over 100,000. I think at its peak in May, it was getting about 150,000 page views a month. But we are in the down season for this site, so I expect it to go back up in the springtime. And the revenue last month for this site alone was $3,276.37. And that is from all sources, which includes this site has Mediavine ads. It earns from Amazon Associates. It earns from Etsy. I think I made $100 last month from Etsy. And I got, just a couple of stragglers like Chewy. I made a few bucks. There may be another one, I'm not sure, but that's the majority of it. This site is the biggest site in my portfolio, and as you'll see, it makes the most money by far. But whenever I started to diversify and I wanted to branch out a little bit, I started to build my next big site. It's not my second site overall. I've had many before this one, but this is the second one that I really built out. And it is in the pets and animals niche. I registered this domain exactly 1 year after site number one. So site number one was exactly 1 year old, and I registered this domain on 11/13 of 2019, making it almost exactly 1 year old right now. Because today is November 1st, so we're just a couple weeks and it'll be a year old. In that time, I've cranked out 210 posts for 294,000 words. So even though this site does have a handful more articles than site one, it has less words. So that tells you that the articles are a bit shorter on this one, and that's what I intended. These are mainly low competition informational topics, at least a large majority of them are, and they can be covered in 1,000 words or, in that range. Traffic is, for October, is 34,482 page views, and That is up from the previous month by, I believe, about 30%. This site is growing steadily month over month, and I expect to hit a huge spike very soon because there's such a huge amount of articles here that have not even ranked yet, and are all less than 3 months old. So this site is due for a massive spike, at which point I want to apply this site for AdThrive. And that's really next on my list for monetization. And that brings us to revenue. This site pretty much hit $1,000 at the 1 year mark, $998.06. So we're going to round up and say $1,000 in less than a year on this site here in the pets and animals niche. So I'm pretty pleased with that progress. Like I said, I expect a traffic spike soon. So if we look at this site again in 3 months, I think it'll be much more than this. So let's take a look at site number 3, which is in the outdoor recreation niche. I actually registered this domain back in November, on November 1st of 2018. So it's been a couple years ago, actually 2 years ago from today. Anyways, what I did is I registered the domain, I built out the site really quick, nothing fancy, and I published one article. And I was trying out a theory that if you build out a site and just publish one article and then let it sit, would that increase your chances of getting out of the Google Sandbox a little quicker, or would it help at all with the Google Sandbox, basically? And come to find out, no, it doesn't help at all. At least in this case, it didn't do anything. So I guess I let it sit until about March of 2020, so almost 18 months later. I went back into this site at that point and I started publishing pretty regularly. I think in March I added another 20 articles, and then April 10, 20. I'm not sure of the exact publishing schedule for this site because I just started adding them here and there. But anyways, at this point, 2 years from the date I registered the domain, I now have 67 posts, and they're all about 6 months or less. That gives us 95,000 words. And last month in October, I had 2,746 page views. So it's starting to pick up some traffic. This site is mainly monetized with affiliate links, though I do have Ezoic ads on here. They did not account for much of this $189 in revenue. The majority of it was from Amazon. Let's take a look at site 4, which was actually my first niche website. Right when I first got into this, I was trying to think of some hobbies and activities that I enjoy doing because I knew that if I started a niche website, it should be something that I'm interested in. So I chose a niche within outdoor recreation. It's, no secret. It's very competitive, like way competitive. I didn't realize it at the time. Anyways, I went in, I registered a domain, one that I would later find out that I chose poorly because it boxed me in. The site has 31 posts as of today for 45,000 words, though I will say I did strip some articles out of site 4 and add them to both site 2 and 3 and set up redirects here because, as I mentioned, this domain kind of boxed me in and those posts did not make sense on this site, so I got rid of them. This site is no longer making very much money, just a few dollars for ads, $16.32. So I don't plan to continue with this site. I'm going to leave it up and registered for probably another year just because of the redirects. After that, I will probably let it die or see if I can sell it for a little bit. And site 5 is in the facts and trivia niche. If that's a niche, I guess it is. It's just basic facts and trivia about a certain topic. So it can't be monetized with affiliate offers in any way. There's possibly potential for an info product, but I don't know. This is a site that I made and published 19 articles on, and I haven't touched this site in well over a year. It's just been sitting here with 19 articles and 13,000 words. A few of the articles are targeting very high volume keywords that are also, or at least looked to be, low competition. Turns out they weren't so low. Anyways, we're getting about 3,000 page views a month on this site, and last month I made $18.55 between AdSense and Ezoic. On to site 6. Site 6 is in the travel niche. I registered this domain in February of 2019. It has 19 posts and 30,000 words. This was my first attempt at outsourcing content, so I didn't really know what I was doing. I wasn't quite sure how to interact with writers and what to tell them to do, and I didn't know how much they knew. So for a lot of the posts on this site, the articles are just not written very well, and that's my fault. I learned from this experience, but I didn't make much money from it. As you can see, this site will just not take off. It refuses to get much traffic at all, even though it's well over 18 months now. But yeah, so I'm not really sure what to do with this site. I don't know that I want to continue it either. It's just another one that's kind of plugging along. So we'll see. Site 7 is in the automotive niche. I registered this domain in June of 2018. I quickly put up about 8 posts here for a total of 11,000 words. It gets about 300 page views a month, so it gets very little traffic. But a few of the affiliate posts on this site are targeting fairly high ticket items, probably $150 to $300 range. So I have gotten a few sales off of this site. As you can see, even though it only got 319 page views, it still made $37.07 on Amazon. So this site is showing a little bit of potential. Unfortunately, the niche is just not very interesting to me, so I don't know what I'll do. I guess I could add 10 or 20 more articles, see if I can get this earning up to about $100 a month and then sell it. That's probably the route I'm going to take with a few of the sites in this portfolio, to be honest. And site number 8 is in the health and fitness niche. I registered this domain around the same time as I did site number 4. And actually, I just threw up a few posts on this one, and then I have left it ever since. I barely even log in to update it. It made $2.58 last month. I don't think I'm going to continue this one. It actually expired, the domain expired, and I left it expired for about a week. Then I decided to renew it again for one more year to give myself a little bit more time to decide what I want to do. But now that I have, I think I'm just going to let it die next year for renewal. Site number 9 is in the apparel niche, I guess you would say. It's about a year and a half old. It was registered on March 22nd of 2019. This site is a bit of an anomaly because it only has 7 posts for a total of 4,000 words, which is nothing. Some articles are longer than that, just one article. Anyways, in October, it got 8,468 page views, which, you know, it's not a lot compared to like my first site, but For 4,000 words, that is a lot. I have one article on this site that is consistently getting 250 to 300 views per day. And it's because it's a really low competition keyword, and for whatever reason, no other sites are covering it. And this site brought in $38.72 last month with 4,000 words on it. The problem is the niche is just so unappealing for me as a publisher to write about and work on. I don't know what I want to do with this site. It actually had 4 articles for the longest time, but I decided just about a month ago to publish 3 more. So now it has 7. So I guess the 4 articles were a proof of concept. I added 3 more. We're going to see if any of them take off. And if they do, I might have to continue on with this site because I have a feeling it might just take off during Black Friday. And site number 10 is in the food and beverage niche. I just registered this domain last month, so really only like 2 weeks ago. In that time, I've put up 7 articles for 8,000 words, and of course, it has 0 traffic other than me, and it has earned no money at all, and I don't expect it to for 3 or 4 months now anyway. So yeah, that's the last site in my portfolio, and let's take a look at the totals. Total posts across my portfolio is 567 articles in a span of 2 years, and that comes to 830,000 words. And last month I got 147,909 page views for a total of $4,643.85. So that gives you an idea of just how much you can make off of this amount of traffic if you are monetized with display ads and affiliate links. Also, I did the math here, and that gives me a RPM last month for my entire portfolio of $31.40, which I had never actually calculated that up across my portfolio for all sites and all income sources. So this was actually new. I did not know that, but I'm pretty happy with it, I think. So yeah, that's it. Now I thought I would also take you guys over to my October earnings spreadsheet that will show each day how much I earned. Now you can see I've got this broken down by date, day of the week, and by each affiliate network and ad network. So you can see here that I've added a placeholder for AdThrive because I do expect to be joining up with them here in the coming months, or near future anyway. And I've also added one for REI, which I'm trying to get my new outdoor recreation site on with them, but it's proving to be a little more difficult than I hoped. Anyways, so you can see down here how much each one of these made. I got 110 from Etsy last month, and I actually just started up with Etsy recently, and I'm pretty pleased. You know, all I've done is put a few ads on some pages, some high traffic pages, and I've done a few affiliate posts for specifically Etsy products. And you know, I haven't put a lot of work into it, and I'm already getting $100 and some odd a month, so that's not bad. Ezoic got $877. Actually, no, I believe this is Amazon. Yeah, Amazon $877, Ezoic $840, and then Mediavine is my biggest earner, and that is $2,729. And I also added my additional income sources here, which is Amazon Canada, Amazon UK. I have a few dollars from AdSense last month. Partnerize, which is Chewy, and that's a total of 87 for a final adjusted total of $4,643.85 last month that I made from my niche website portfolio. So that's it, guys. I just wanted to give you a little bit of a glimpse into my portfolio, see all the sites that I'm working with right now and how they're growing, and to just kind of get an idea of what someone else's portfolio looks like. This was always my goal, was to have a portfolio of websites. I don't necessarily want to keep 10. Honestly, I'm going to trim this down to about 4 or 5, maybe even 3. But for now, I'm going to hang on to these and just let the winners kind of shine through and let the other ones fade away. If you guys like this content, be sure and like the video, subscribe to my channel, and let me know in the comments if you want me to go into detail about anything you saw here. I know I showed you site number 2 here. I'm thinking about doing a video of how this site went from $0 to $1,000 a month within a year. So let me know if you want to see that.